All statements and opinions expressed by guests of the Adult in the Room podcast are strictly their own and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs or opinions of the host, producers, or advertisers. All interviews are presented in their most complete possible form in the interests of free speech. No statements should be interpreted as financial, legal, or medical advice. Listener and viewer discretion are strongly advised.
It's the Adult in the Room podcast with Victoria Taft. That's me.
Well, welcome to this special edition of the Adult in the Room podcast with Victoria Taft. You know, it's not often that we talk about the Russia-Ukraine war on the Adult in the Room podcast, but we are now, because what we can do is we can talk about this really ongoing, nearly 4-year-long war with someone who knows very intimately what's going on. And that's why we ask Pastor Anatoly Kalyuzhny to come on to talk about that. Anatoly has appeared before on the Adult in the Room podcast, and we don't necessarily talk tactics or anything, but we do try to color in the lines and tell viewers how the Ukrainians deal with this invasion, what's happening, how it impacts their lives and their ministry. Because, of course, he's the pastor of the New Life Church in Kyiv, and this means much more than pastoring a flock. This means much more than getting people in the seats on a Sunday. This is actually restoring life to some of the people in this region who need more than ministerial help. They need food and they need shelter, and their kids need to have a place to go. He and his son, Anton Kalyuzhny, who works with his dad at the church, is instrumental in their efforts to bring some normalcy to the lives of the Ukrainians in their region. And today we're going to get an update on the war, their efforts to help their people, and what it takes to be a guy who gets things done in such a tricky governmental situation. And Anatoly and Anton, welcome to the Adult in the Room podcast. How are you?
Maybe Anton will start. We're okay because we are in California.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How long are you there for?
For 3 weeks, and just in 2 days we are going back home. Actually, we are flying to Poland, and then we are driving back to Kyiv.
I see. Is it easy to drive back to Kyiv from Poland? It seems to me that's kind of tricky.
It's not easy to drive. The hardest part is to get permission for leaving the country. So actually, there is a special procedure to get permission to cross the border. So the procedure takes like months. So yeah, I cannot leave country more than for 3.5 weeks. So my time here is limited, and I need to come back. Yeah, so it's quite a long drive. It takes usually 15 hours to drive from Kyiv to Warsaw.
I see.
Our custom.
Yeah, border control. So the lines are long, so it takes some time.
There's an issue with respect to leaving the country for young men like yourself. And I know that there have been some people leaving, and we're not sure they're coming back because the war is going on and on and on. How do you feel about that?
I feel that for individualistic people who have to think very individualistically, there are not so many reasons to stay in Ukraine, because it's war, life, and uncertainty. It's very hard to organize your life, to build your life, to accomplish something when you have blackouts and when you can be drafted and mobilized. But I think there are a lot of young men who decided intentionally to stay in Ukraine. And we sometimes we know those who are living, but there is a big number of men who decided to stay because they feel that is kind of their mission to stay, stabilize, and then only when you stay in a country and you share the pains, share the struggle, then after you will have a moral right to actually rebuild and recover country. But for me personally, it's okay. Those men who are living, who live outside of the country, They can be very useful. They can be our voice over here, and they can be our advocate here. And we feel a big support from those who stay outside of Ukraine. So everyone is important. Yeah, in our
Well,
fight.
yeah, and it's not easy to be where you are. Here's a video that your dad recorded in August after a bombing attack.
2025, Kyiv, Ukraine. It's just 5 miles from my home. Russian missiles target straight to living sanctuary, and 25 people was killed, and hundreds of people was wounded. Younger child was just 2 years old. Can you imagine? It's touched my heart. I ask you, just pay attention for that. I'm very appreciative for everyone who has stayed with us in this most difficult time, and I ask you, please pray for Ukraine. Please pray for protection. Please do what you can to do. Just help us to against this evil. God, you know everything. We don't have power in us. You are our shield, and you protect us. Stop this terrible war and help us to get out from this death, damage, and pain. If you can pray with me, please pray together. And God will help us because in God we trust. We ask God in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Well, amen. Are we any closer to peace now than when we started talking all those years ago?
Victoria, last night was much most difficult night for all Ukrainians, especially for Kyiv city citizen.
Oh,
It
really?
was more than 400 drones and more than 40 missiles in the same time get
10
to
ballistics.
10 ballistic missiles
Wow.
get to the Kyiv city, just one city, and 28 damages around the city because we shoot numbers of ballistic and drones, and in a lot of noise, and 35 people evacuated, 6 people died and was killed during the night. And all night I called my friends here in California,
Mhm.
all around America, and asked, please pray.
Yeah, coming to your question, is war coming to the end? I think Russians, they have a strategic strategy, and their strategy is to destroy whole country, and they strategically move towards that. And we understand that they can be stopped only by power, and they respect and recognize only power, and not always like negotiation without this power would not bring peace. They just will take the time to regroup, reform, retrain army, update army, recover, and they will continue. So strategically we understand that only if we will be strong enough and they will look on us and they see that they would never get us, only then they will stop. So there is no, unfortunately, there is no easy solutions, and there is no shortcuts and fast solution of this war. Yeah.
I think I know President Trump has talked a lot about ending the war. He's sick of the dying. He wants something to be done, and he's willing to do a deal. Okay. What does that deal look like? Because it doesn't sound like Ukraine is willing to give up any of the land that Russia has already taken, if you will, annexed in Crimea. And then we have this area here. And so what's the solution?
We're ready to stop the war immediately. After that, we will be ready to talk about Crimea, about south and eastern part of Ukraine, about that occupation land. But number one, we have to stop the war. It's our vision and our point.
Yeah.
Russia has another view.
Yeah, Russians want to destroy whole country. The thing is, Victoria, we had during the last 10 years, we had 20, and in the year 25 deals and agreements with Russians. 25 there was deals and agreements. Then
Nothing more.
Yeah, nothing more and so that we have a phrase in Ukrainian. The agreement with Russians cost less than the cost of paper on which you
Yeah.
sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It sounds
so
like it.
Yeah, so then someone, if there will be agreement, someone will need to. mm, If someone will cross the line of agreement, there should be someone who can make accountable.
Mhm.
And no one want to make other like Russia accountable if they will destroy agreement. And everyone try to avoid this role, avoid this responsibility. And we understand that if there will be no one who can make them accountable, it means that we have to to be strong enough to not let them to destroy agreement. Yeah.
I can
Mhm.
tell you one point. For example, Russia want of demilitarization of Ukraine, but honestly, uh, America and Russia demilitarized Ukraine 20 years ago. They took all nuclear power from weapons
Yes.
from us. They took all strategic jets from military jets from. They took all kind of weapons from Ukraine, and what's as a result what we have now?
We become vulnerable. And
Yeah.
that's the weakness that what provokes aggression.
I know that just over the last night that we're on the day we're recording, it would be last night, the Ukrainians took their drones, they call them the robot drones, and they went after Russia's largest oil terminals and bombed those, which seems to me like I'm sorry, but not a bad thing. Because oil is what's going to have to bring Russia to heel, to stop. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's oil. It's their money. It's their resource. And Russia. We stop now during the September, October. We stop 25% less. They have oil because of our missiles, and we shoot them by drone and
I
missiles.
think now even 35%.
Maybe 30.
The thing is, if we want to stop war, we need to stop funding war. Russia funded war through export of oil.
Right.
So if countries like India or China continue buying oil from Russia, this means what we can do, we can destroy their ability to produce this oil. So we can stop these factories, this oil depot. Yeah.
So India has come around and said it will stop buying oil from Russia. And we hope that that's true. They're, I guess, going through the current agreements they have now, and then they'll stop. Western Germany is stopping, my understanding is. So that will help. So I can't help.
Hungary get and
Slovakia
allowed them to buy Slovakia
for
get
for
1
year.
year. And basically China. And we had hope meeting between President Trump and Xi can stop that, because if Xi will tell Russia stop, it can be stop war immediately. Why? Because Russia, we fighting not just with Russia, we fighting with China, with North Korea, with Iran, because just a couple months ago, drone get straight to our church facility, and when we saw these pieces of the mind of the drone, everything from China.
So
on brains, it's
microschemes.
everything from China. Yeah.
Yeah, well, China makes the best drones. So right now, we hope to defeat that. But the other thing is that just as an aside, speaking of drones, there are people who say that one of the drone makers in Ukraine was selling some drones to Iran, which that's a bad thing. Nobody wants that. So, I mean, I'm not sure he knew what he was doing, that some of his parts of his drones were going to Iran, but that doesn't help the situation, does it?
But at the beginning, Iran gave drone to Russia and give technology of drones to Russia. But I know secret how to stop the war. Very simple. Very simple. For example, if America, Trump, will give for Ukraine, for example, 100 Tomahawk and say for Russia, now we give for Ukraine 100 Tomahawk. If Russia will not stop in 1 week this war, Ukraine will get 1,000. That's all. It will be finished immediately.
So you're talking about tomahawks to carry nuclear weapons, though, right?
Not to nuclear weapons.
Just interconnect inter ballistic missiles. What am I trying to say?
They're not
ballistic
missiles, not ballistic. They're cruise missiles.
Okay.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
Yeah, about Iran. We clearly see that Iran that is not our friend.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not, and that is a lie of Russia, and 500% support Russia. So I would say that Ukrainian society and Ukrainian, I would say even government, they would stop if there is any information. No one want to give anything to Iran from Ukraine. So if something like that happens, that is just like exception of the rule. That's not a trend. That is more exception, more mistakes than a rule.
Can we go to see a little bit about how you deal with the people who remain in Kyiv? For example, the ministry that you have to undertake there to give your people rest. I know a lot of people have left, but some people remain.
We still have a lot of people, and we have a different area of ministry. For example, our church still involved to help Ukraine army to have more chaplain. It's one ministry what we have for military people. We help by medical way for military people. Another way how we can help for civil people. If you're interested about civil people, we can talk a lot about this area. For example, we have a lot of widows. We have a lot of kids who lost parents or father on the front line. We have a lot of pastors behind New Life. We have more than 50 churches, and pastors died. We need refresh them. We need to help them to give them vision. It's important for Ukraine to see light at the end of the tunnel, because many people just lost. They have no idea when everything will be stopped.
Yeah, I think, yeah, coming to your question, how we can sustain, how we can help, it's really hard. For example, at night we have attacks, so during day we need to work, and then next night attacks. So it is hard, and I'm not sure we are super good in solving this problem, but I understand there are not so many things we need in a war to stabilize ourselves. So what we actually need, we need to share our lives with some people. So we encourage and we understand that if everyone need to have like a small group of people with whom they're solving, like a sharing lives, they're crying, they're solving problems, they're walking through all pain and uncertainty. So to be like a family, and without such kind of family community, you feel very lonely and very uncertain. And when you are part of this church family or like a life group family, then there is a natural encouragement. And
Yeah.
we, when we get together, we encourage each other. So we can come to the gathering tired and exhausted, and then after we become full of energy and energized. Yeah. So even when we don't see a short solution, but if we have a big framework of what is going on, that actually this is the last phase of war with Russia, which is like a 300 years long war, and this is our part and a lot of generations before us been dreaming to live in this moment, That helps us. Then we understand that actually situations which we have is much more better than situations which my grandparents had. We have
Really?
more fun. Completely.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, much
get it.
more. And there is hope. We always see. And what also encouraged me is when I see the next generation. And this is very interesting because older people are very frustrated, but younger ones, they are more energized, and they can see, they can live their lives even in the middle of war. They can build their families, and they can bring this, this taste of life to whole church family.
How
So
do you
that's
how do you how do you live? I mean, how do you make a living? How do you live your day in and day out, when the possibility is that a bomb could drop on you?
Oh, day is no problem. During the day, it's regular life, but during the night, it's most difficult. Yeah, and how? Because almost every night, we have alarm, we have this missile drones and all of that, and just how I live. For example, I try to go to bed early before alarm, and I know after midnight it will be crazy time, and I try to sleep 2 3 hours before that. It's
Mm.
helping to walk through.
Yeah, and Victoria, people are they are we can adjust. We have this unique ability to adjust. Even in this uncertainty, we can do it. So actually, we can build our plans such a way that we can be flexible. Yes, that we can. It's hard to explain, but yeah, now in Ukraine, this the season of blackouts started. So now we need to think even more like, okay, how we can live without without electricity. And you know what?
Mhm.
People get used to. We can adjust. So there are in each area, um, in each region, unity area, there is place where like generators, Starlink internet, and people can get together. They have batteries and they can make a coffee. They sit together, they work, or some coffee shops provide a free internet and free electricity for those who come, and we just everything become like a co-working space. People come, work together, talk, have coffee, pray together, and yeah, I think to live through this, we cannot live individualistically. We cannot sustain. But when we become like co-workers and support each other, that helps a lot, and then we can overcome, and then we can feel that we are not alone, but there are shoulders of our friends and relatives, yeah,
Mhm.
and neighbors. Yeah.
Well, a long time ago, I asked your dad, and Anatoly, we talked about this because we have a lot of stories that out of Ukraine
Yeah,
about the corruption and how you have to navigate around that in order to get things for your church and for your people. How's that going? Is it as
yeah.
corrupt as it's been, or is it getting
I
better
told
or
you,
worse?
and I told you again, corruption. It's very sad. It's inside each of us. We
Mm.
have to fight with corruption here and everyone. And you have much more maybe corruption here in America
Oh,
than we have in Ukraine.
I
Maybe
don't doubt
little,
we have our share. That's for sure.
yeah. And the positive point, we talk about corruption. We try to open this case, and we just, for example, all of this
Investigation.
investigation, we use it just to open for everyone. And why? Because just one way to stop it, talk
You're
about
right.
that publicly, reveal.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Transparency.
and then what, which is very important, we teach about this in our Sunday school.
Hmm.
We teach this in high
From the
schools.
pulpit.
We teach it from the stage. We teach it on the home groups. We teach that actually this transparency is very, very, very important, and that we cannot be spiritually mature if we are cheating and there is corruption element. So
Right.
we talk about a lot. The thing is, for it's it's important to understand what are roots of corruption. So corruption that is like Soviet Union, Soviet like thing, because yeah, that is Soviet way of in Soviet
Thinking.
Union. When you live in used to live in the Soviet Union, and you understand that country is your enemy, and they are cheating you, and they look on you like
Yes.
and like, then you have a moral right to cheat your government. So that was like, they're cheating us, we are cheating them, and that was like a silent agreement. And then when we become independent, then okay, we need to, if we together we are building country, there should be trust, and there should be openness. Yeah. What one more thing I would say, the main in Ukraine we have very strong anti-corruption initiatives and like volunteers, like civil investigators, and most of them are believers and Christians. So Christians understand their role in bringing this transparency and talking, and we understand this is the only way how we can build a new country. We need to leave corruption
Wow.
behind. And
Yeah, it really does.
that is
I can tell you more about that. It's important to have balance between government and opposition. Opposition, it's like bring balance. Or, for example, a court must be independent from our president or our parliament. People who are opposition must have a power to stop or to talk about that. It's influence. It's bring balance. Like in America, you used to have balance. Now it's difficult because power can control everything.
Right.
Everything. But I think healthy situation when one party control another party who on the power. It's very important to control each other because people it's
Checks and
simple.
balances.
Yeah, yeah, it's very important by my opinion, and we're working very hard about that. Our journalists, our church leader, our just influential people. It's very important. In Russia, you will not talk about corruption. In Ukraine, any point of corruption, we open. It's very difficult to be corrupt in Ukraine because you will be in trouble. Just this guy who was
Well,
one
I
of the
know some
leaders,
people.
he just ran away from.
I was just wondering because I'm not real expert on this case or anything, but I know that there was a big investigation into was it Timur Mindik and Alexander Shukerman and others, and others got held accountable, at least initially, and then those two got away. They were allowed to leave the country. So what does that? Does it make you feel badly that this has happened, or do you think things will work out? What is your thought as leaders in Ukraine?
Let me tell you, it depends how our government will react for that. It can make Ukraine stronger, this situation with corruption, or it's make Ukraine weaker. It's important to, because we have international court, you can easily find that guys from in Israel or somewhere, and they have to be responsible for what they did. But if our president will be kind and very soft, maybe it will bring some problem for us.
Yeah.
But the good thing that actually that is a state institution, NABU and SAP, they've been investigating, reveal, and they made it. So all this corruption, even if they are close to the government, no one have guarantees. Like everything can be revealed. No one have guarantees that would not happen. If that happened with the Medici, that can happen with everyone, and they understand. They need to have fear that one day everything will be revealed. Yeah.
How is Christianity doing in your city and in Kyiv? I mean, you do have you're losing people, no question about it, through the war, as well as people who are leaving. And so how do people, how's the church doing?
I can tell you, in God, Bible says nothing lose it. For example, numbers of people left Ukraine, but I have been in Poland and meet with Christian leaders there, and the Ukrainians planned in Poland more churches during the war season than all Polish evangelical movement during the whole
Wow.
history.
There's
Can you
30 million.
imagine? Can you
I believe it.
imagine? And God has a plan. Yes, we are not happy about that. People left Ukraine,
Sure.
but God has a plan and He has a purpose. We cannot see very clear what God is doing, but we have to see behind, and maybe later we will see result of God's plan. Do you remember
Yeah.
in the book of Acts when first church was spread around and
Mhm.
people was not happy? But as a
Right.
result, church just was everywhere and started new churches, new movement. God do something very special now.
I think, yeah, coming to your question. So in Ukraine, when you understand that you are not in control of your life and you cannot control all the field of your life, electricity, you go to bed, you don't know, maybe rocket will fall down, or you don't know, maybe your business will bankrupt, or you'll be drafted, or so there are a lot of things that you are not in control. So to be able to live in this reality, you need to be somehow open to the supernatural, to trust to God, and to look, okay, how can I live? Where is it? I cannot control the things, but
Right.
I need to live. And the more I try to control, the less happy I am. So yeah, I feel that
Right.
this generation is those who are inside of Ukraine, they are very open to supernatural because they see it. There are a lot of miracles, a lot of things there where we can see that God's works, and it's obvious even for those who are not believers. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah,
And you have
but
to be ready
but
to die every night.
Mhm.
and then I think that the church, yeah, how church is feeling. Church become less institution and more family, more community, which I think it's better because that is our way of functioning, as our way
Mm.
of living. Yeah, no one
House
is
churches.
or yeah, house or even smaller communities. Yeah, maybe not house churches yet, but yes, there are a lot of house churches, but
Maybe small group of
smaller or yeah,
home group
for
or light group.
for mega churches. It's
Right.
no one is looking for mega church. No one is looking for a big event, what to visit and a speaker from the stage. No, that's not what you search for in the war
Right.
times. That's why churches resetting, like adjusting and changing. Okay,
Yeah.
so how we can be more family, less institution. Yeah.
Yep. That's certainly, you're in right now, you're in Orange County and you're going to go back. There's a big movement there to go smaller. I mean, obviously that's the land of mega churches, no doubt about it. But it is a it's a trend to get smaller because people need that. What do you need? What does your church need?
Well, what we need more battery and solar because we need a lot of blackouts. We need gas for our generator because winter and we want to run our electricity, and church became like a shelter for many people. For example, you're out of electricity, you're out of heating in your apartment. You can visit church. You can recharge your telephone. You can communicate by internet. You can feel like warm, nice, comfortable. It's very important. It's like home. We
Sure.
try to do all of that. Number two, so I'm thinking how to help because behind me, not just one church, behind me, many churches, many pastors, and they have a lot of fear. For example, one of the key questions was mobilization of pastor. If pastor mobilized, the church will be collapsed. And we talk a lot with government how pastor church can be part of strategic infrastructure of country, and we almost done it. And praise God, our young pastor can be free from mobilization.
I see.
Temporary. We will see. There is no clarity yet.
Yeah, not clear, but it's important for me because and I had chance to talk directly to our president about that, and
Wow.
it's very serious because church, country need church on the front line by chaplain and church for civil people, because every night it's fear, it's death, it's tears, pain, loss, and we need somebody who can bring encouragement and some hope, and church can play a big role in this area. And he agreed to see church, to give church more power, more control of society, or more influence for society.
When are you guys going to have another election? Do you think Zelensky survives another election? Should you have one? This is my last question.
We have to change our president very often because just 4 years ago, it's my opinion, private life, because that place, even war, it's such a comfortable, and maybe you like it, and maybe you will use the wrong way. By my opinion, Zelensky was very good during the war, no doubt about that. But it will be new season, new time, and be open. It's nothing wrong if you will change Zelensky, nothing wrong if you will keep him. But by my opinion, it's like you can see a former Soviet Union countries like Belarus, how many years Lukashenko, Putin, how many years.
Yes.
Some republics, it's the same with Kazakhstan or Azerbaijan, the same. It's the reason why we have to change, rotate our leaders. We have enough smart, honest people.
Good job. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today on the Adult in the Room podcast. And God bless you both as you go back in a couple of days to tend to the people that you have under your care at New Life Church, New Life Christian Church in Kyiv. Anton, Anatoly, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, now.
God bless you. God bless Ukraine. And next time we will celebrate victory of Ukraine.
Well, that would be amazing.